Riverside.
Oh, Mr. White, good morning.
Mrs. Angel, good morning. Another year.
Oh, 2023. When
Bring
did
it
that
on.
happen?
Fantastic. 2023.
Insanity.
Wow.
Here we are, the
Wow.
flying, the hover cars, what else was supposed to happen in 2020?
I know we're meant to have sharks coming out and biting you if Back to the Future 2 is anything to go by.
It's definitely self-driving cars. Like, we're nearly there. We're so close to being there.
Yeah, well, we're nearly a quarter of the way through this century. What?
Oh, stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it.
I will stop it. I will stop it.
All right, so what are we doing here? Teachers Change Lives podcast. It's the start of a new school year. So obviously my name's Shaz Angel. I'm a biology and HB teacher by trade. I am the very proud principal of Mastery Schools Australia in Queensland, Australia. And joining me is my very, very handsome co-host, Mr. White, who is an English and geography teacher from Melbourne. He is a teacher lover from way back. Don't make that weird. And he's the master of the witty wisecrack, Mr. Will White.
Hello. Great to be here for another year, saddling up again. It really is a wonderful thing just being part of this. We've only a couple of episodes in, but we're looking forward to a big full year of Teachers Change Lives podcast, shining a light on what is great about the profession that we are engaged in, what it is to be interacting with young people, showing them new perspectives, developing their understanding, and also shaping our own as well, pushing our own understanding and boundaries of understanding of the world around us. And exploring what is a very quickly changing environment that we find ourselves in.
Absolutely. If you don't like change, don't be a teacher. Don't be a teacher. The only thing guaranteed in education is change.
Yes.
And we just need to embrace it with open arms. So we talked about at the end of last year that the research that I did, so don't hold me to these numbers, but it looks like there's around 80 million teachers worldwide, 300,000 teachers in Australia. So there's a lot of people out there who have chosen this amazing profession, and we want to just tap you on the shoulder. The whole point of this podcast is tapping you on the shoulder and telling you that you are awesome and you're making a massive difference, and hence the name Teachers Change Lives. Every day, not every profession gets to wake up and go and absolutely know that you're making a difference in the world. And that's what teachers get to do. And sometimes we get a bit beaten down by the job and exhausted. So I guess we want to lift you up and put you on our shoulders and celebrate you and the work that you're doing.
Absolutely. And not just for teachers, we're for everyone who is, we all went to school in some way. We're all engaged in learning in some way, shape or form. And we want to put a positive spin on what that can look like into the future. There's so many exciting things happening in all sorts of areas. We want to shine a light on how much fun it is to be a teacher, but also just say, look, the future can be positive. It can be bright. This is what the future might look like. This is where we're going. Get involved. Come with us. Give us your feedback.
Share your stories. We want it. So the idea of this podcast is we are your voice. So there'll be lots of opportunities for you to be able to connect with us so that we can tell your funny story, your wisecracks, your teaching tales, your inspiring stories. If you've got an amazing colleague that needs to have a shout out and about what they're doing, then we are the podcast to do that. So there's lots of ways that you can reach out to us. And when we decided to do this at the end of last year, we were not sure if anybody would be interested. But the great thing is that it has, there's been a lot of interest. So our couple of trial episodes that we did at the end of last year led to over 10,000 downloads. And so we're kicking off the year officially now this year, and really hoping to reach as many of those 80 million teachers worldwide, see how many countries we can get into. So if you've got a colleague in a different country, tell them about us, and we'd love to hear some stories from all around the world to see just how similar kids are as they're learning and how different, maybe similar or different, being a teacher is around the world.
Yep, really, really important. We're all involved in this. It's so we've got like 10,000 downloads. That's great, but we have listeners in Spain. Well, I should be fair here. We have a listener in Spain. So, hola. Miguel.
Hola, Miguel. Yes,
Miguel.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Miguel. I'm just going to go. I like that name. So we'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Beautiful.
Hello, hola. G'day.
G'day, mate. So what did you do? So I guess it's the start of a new school year. So I know there's a lot going on for me. What's the start of a school year in your teacher life look like?
Well, I've been teaching for 14, 15 years, and every year, and this is just true for term breaks as well, I try to be as prepared as possible to start the new term, and doubly so for the start of the new year. You want to make a really good impression on the students. You want to create that positive vibe in the classroom. You want to be prepared on top of things as much as possible. You can really work yourself into a lather, really trying to get all those things done. And what I've learned over the years is it doesn't matter how much effort, how much time, how much blood, sweat, and tears you put into preparation. You never feel 100% prepared. And so, look, it is important, obviously, to prepare. You need to know where you're going. But my advice to teachers, start with the end point, start with what you're trying to teach the students and work backwards. And just be a human in the classroom. That's something I'm really focusing on this year. My mantra this year is no effort is wasted. Now, no effort is wasted. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and I don't like wasting or being inefficient. Let's put it that way. I don't like being inefficient. And so sometimes I will resist against starting something that needs to be done until I feel 100% ready to execute.
Yep.
And so my mantra this year is just put effort in. No effort is wasted. It doesn't matter if you're pushing in the wrong direction. It will give you a different perspective to view the issue or the task or the problem from. So no effort is wasted. That's what I'm focusing on this year. Do you have anything like that, Chaz?
Well, that's great. That's good for your mindset because absolutely change is the only constant in education. So sometimes when that change happens, change will always happen, that's when teachers start to feel like that effort was wasted. But it wasn't. Just because something has changed now, the effort that you put in to what you have done before was not wasted at all. It had an impact. And that's very smart and very wise of you, Mr. Whitey. My school is in a significant growth phase, and so we opened last year with 27 students, and we're opening our doors before the first week starts for Meet the Teacher. We have 182 students.
27 to 182.
Within a year, there's actually only supposed to be 180, but I just couldn't say no to the two. They need our school, and they need the amazing learning that our teachers and our system offer. So 182 it is, and we have there's been lots of renovations, and so I guess it's about flexibility and adaptability, all things that are so important for teachers. And my teachers and assistant teachers and support workers and admin officers are just absolutely phenomenal. And just seeing everybody mucking in that week 0, getting everything looking beautiful and in the right place so that students can have that settled experience. And it's amazing. It's just beautiful to see how excited everybody is to have welcome our new students and see our old students, and they're wanting to have everything perfect, but knowing it's okay for it not to be perfect. Perfectly fine to not be perfect.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. As long as the direction is heading in the right direction, that's what it is. That's 182 very lucky students, Shaz.
Fantastic. That's very nice.
Hell of an achievement.
Yeah. Very exciting. So, and what about the holidays? How were your holidays? How did you spend them? How did you rest, recover, rejuvenate?
Rest? I didn't rest. I've got 3 kids, 1, 3 and 5. Recover, didn't recover. I've got kids, 1, 3 and 5.
Yep.
Rejuvenate, didn't rejuvenate. I've got children, 1, 3 and 5. One thing I did that was great fun was coming up, my children, 1, 3 and 5, don't know if I've mentioned that. We polled them in the car with my wife and we drove up to see you, Shaz, which was awesome. And I'm in Melbourne, Shaz is in Brisbane, so it's, 1,800 kilometres, and it was great. It was fantastic. It was really good. Got to spend a couple of nights with you and your family. It was brilliant. Loved it. Really did fill the bucket, which is something my wife uses, but I love that term as well, fill my bucket as well. You guys are fantastic. Got to see family up there as well. Had a great time. And I'm energized. I'm pumped and I'm ready for the new year. What did you do? I know the highlight was seeing me and my family, but what else did you do?
Well, the highlight was probably your 3-year-old continually saying Diplodocus with that adorable little lisp and his love for dinosaurs. What a delight he is.
It's a funny kid.
Well, we were pining for family, actually. We had the most amazing holiday over to the US. We went to Honolulu and then we went to New York for a very, very cold, not quite white Christmas. Minus 27 degrees was the feels like temperature, which apparently is too cold for snow. And we also did go over, it didn't all go to plan. We went over to watch our hero Steph Curry play for the Golden State Warriors, but unfortunately the game before we went to watch his games, he hurt his shoulder. So he sat out for all of the games that we travelled a long way to watch. But, we demonstrate a bit of resilience and suffered through our amazing NBA games. And, also got to go to San Francisco and Vancouver and then got home. But we missed our family and our friends over Christmas and New Year. So it was wonderful to then see you guys, to see the White family. And then I also got to go up to where I come from, to Yeppoon, to see my mum and my family for a late Christmas and to celebrate my mum's 70th birthday. So hi, Mum. And we, I guess when we started this podcast, we knew that we were going to have one listener in my mum. So so shout out to Mum, Beth Tennant, and who's a great inspiration to me, to wanting to become a teacher. And turns out you've got 9,999 other friends out there, Mum, who are also enjoying this podcast.
Yes, but you were the first. You're the OG. She
was the OG, absolutely. I guess with the holidays definitely, filled my bucket, and but then coming back and then knowing how much work we had to do to turn the school into a school of 182 182 students was amazing. And seeing all of the staff and inducting all of our new staff, all the old staff and new staff, and it's been a great week in the lead up to the term. I'm so fortunate to have the best teaching team and support team in the world at my school, and I'm sure there's every school saying that right now. So we are ready to kick off the best teaching year 2023. Absolutely. I've decided there's not going to be no COVID.
You've decided no COVID?
No COVID.
I'm glad you've come to that decision. I think there would have been uproar if you'd come to any other.
Absolutely, yeah. Good. I don't want to hear anything more, anything different.
One of the things that and our job here, one of the things we're trying to achieve is to show how great teaching is. One of the greatest things about being a teacher, and this might not be true for a principal, but it is true for just a random teacher, is you're never more than 5 weeks away from a holiday. You've either just had a holiday or you've got one on the horizon.
That's true.
And, we've got, 6-7 weeks over summer where we can guarantee that we're on break. We can guarantee, yes, it's expensive to fly elsewhere because it's school holidays, but you've got this time off.
Absolutely.
So it really is a wonderful thing, because every year I go to the Boxing Day test in Melbourne, which is a cricket match. And every year I go Boxing Day, but every year I go a couple of other days as well. And it's just fantastic tradition that I can build simply because I don't have a job that demands that I am at that job at that time. Yeah. And look, I've got a lot of mates, lawyers, doctors. I've got a lot of mates who do different things, like, roadwork people as well. They don't have that freedom. They don't have that guaranteed holidays. Yes, they can put in for leave and all that sort of thing, but we know.
Yeah, and your body, you can plan your mind for it, you can plan your body for it, you can plan your family for it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
What are we doing next holidays? That's the standard question in our household. What are we doing next holidays? And we know it's only maximum of 10 weeks away. It's great.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And they're worth it. Teachers are worth it, and
absolutely.
And they don't have to defend it, because the work that they do between the holidays are a necessary requirement to refill your bucket. So I hope, my hope is for all the teachers out there that you found some moments of quiet, even if you've got a 1, 3, and 5-year-old, to be able to do a bit of rejuvenation, and you deserve it, and you deserve every second that you had. And then I hope you come back with a spring in your step for your kids, so that you can greet them with a smile. And you've got your 5-year-old is heading off to to primary school.
Big school, yes, she is. She's starting prep. She got a school uniform, and it's scary how grown up she is. But it's great. It's fantastic. It's what it's about. And I know nothing about primary school. I'm a secondary school educator, and so all this stuff is pretty new to me as well. I mean, I have a vague idea of what's going on. But weird things happen to kids this age. They get blood noses, their teeth fall out. Yep. That doesn't happen in my everyday in English class. So, it's great to be part of it. Like, it's exciting. It really is. You get caught up in it. And
the work that the primary school...
Oh, they're the best.
Primary school teachers, they are miracle workers. And when you came to visit, I said to little Bonbon, you in 100 days at school, you're going to learn to read. You're going to be able to read signs. You're going to be able to tell me what that word is. And she's super excited to learn to read, and that whole world is going to open up to her. And it's funny that you're an English teacher, so they, the work that they're going to do right now with her is going to lay that foundation for a beautiful future for her. So
I think I might have started a bit too early. Like, some people are reading Bonnie and Ben, which is a pretty common sort of nursery rhyme book, and I've been reading Thomas Hardy and Shakespeare to her. So I don't know, I might have set the bar a bit too high.
Oh no, definitely not. No,
you live and learn, don't you? I don't know. You live and learn.
When she's quoting Shakespeare to me, I'm thinking, come on, like, I don't understand what you're saying. Can you just speak in a language I understand, Bon?
I'll just have some Judith Wright. I don't know. She might be too early.
Never. Well, and for me, my son is about to go into high school, so
that's a big one. That's a very big one.
It is a big one, and so we had this amazing holiday all together, which was great. And then when we've come home, we know that he's got to catch a couple of buses to be able to get to school. So we made the big, very difficult decision around a mobile phone, and have given him a mobile phone. And I mean, I don't want to get too controversial in our first episode, but I will let you know I'm already regretting the decision, probably not for the normal reasons, but more so because he has been at home since my husband and I have been back at work with his mobile phone and getting his own lunch. So this is an example of a text message. I don't know if we're going to call it a conversation, because he knows I don't answer texts because I'm working hard. But so he sends these messages to my husband. It goes, it's 2:45 in the afternoon. Obviously, we've got jobs. Where is the avocado? 10 seconds later. Dad. 10 seconds later. Dad. 10 seconds later. Dad. 5 seconds later. Where's avocado? 5 minutes later. Luke responds, in the fridge in a clear container. 15 minutes later. Thanks. Like, really? Like, so it's urgent, but it took you 15 minutes though to say thanks after that?
Well, but he was dealing with the avocado. He was prepping it to make his guacamole or whatever it was that he was making.
Dad, where's avocado? In the fridge in a clear container. Like, it was in a clear container. You could see the avocado in the fridge, obviously, in a clear container.
Okay, so I'm assuming he's new to a mobile phone experience, yes?
He is, yes.
All right, so let's cut him a bit of slack. Okay. He said thank you. He got it in 15 minutes later, which I think is a reasonable amount of time.
I think we need
the fact he was separating his texts, Dad by 5 seconds.
Dad, why aren't you answering me? Dad. Oh my goodness.
You're interpreting that in the incorrect way. I think it's more like, Dad. Dad.
You're right.
Thank Father, dearest.
Thank you for talking me off this cliff. I appreciate it.
Happy to help.
All right. So what are we actually covering in this podcast?
All right. What are we doing?
All right. So we are. What's the first thing? We will do a Whitey's Weekly Wisecrack. We will be doing that at times. A second segment would be called
Teaching Tales.
Excellent. What's a teaching tale?
These are stories that just cannot be made up. They are jaw-dropping moments of madness that happen in schools every day, things that teachers see all the time, but just think that they're not amazing simply because they're involved in that. But when you actually step back and say, hey, this kid said this, that's pretty funny, or that's pretty amazing, then you realise that's what teaching tales are all about.
Absolutely. They're the reasons why we get invited to barbecues. People want us to come back. They never stop. They never end. And absolutely, they're absolutely a highlight of the profession. And then finally, our last segment that you will hear if you tune into some of our episodes is
an inspiring story. So this is a story where either it comes from someone writing in via email, or it comes from an interviewee or whatever. If you've had a story that has changed your life, the way a teacher has opened up a new door for you, we want to hear who these teachers are. We want to hear what they did to put you on the path to where you find yourself today, because that's what teaching is. Teaching is about showing different perspectives that are possible, and not necessarily pushing direction, but showing direction. That's what we want to open up. So that's what Inspiring Story is about.
Love it. So if our listeners have any of those weekly wisecracks, or a wisecrack that you have used in your classroom to crack your kids up, a teaching tale that you have that has happened to you, and I know every teacher has got a playbook of these, or if you have an inspiring story, if you're working with an amazing colleague, if your child has an amazing teacher who's doing great things, and then we need to know about it. So send any of those to teacherschangelivespodcast@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us on our Facebook site or our Instagram site. I believe we've also got YouTube, and I do think we've got the TikTok going as well. We do have the TikTok. But you can send us a direct message on any of those platforms, or send us an email. And the whole point of this podcast is we're here to share the stories of those 80 million teachers worldwide. So please reach out, and so that we don't have to just tell our own stories. And we've had some good ones, some really good ones. But before we get into anything that has been sent through to us, I think it's time, Whitey, for a Whitey Weekly Wisecrack.
Whitey's Weekly Wisecracks. What do you got, Mr. White?
I forgot about that last week. It's fantastic. It's great. That's great. Okay, so year 10, picture this, year 10 class. Okay, I'm teaching Animal Farm, which most people have covered as a text. I'm an English teacher, obviously. Teaching Animal Farm. And I sit back and I write the word propaganda on the board. Okay, so we're teaching propaganda for the day. I turn to the class and say, students, propaganda. It's more than a genuine goose. Yeah. And that was the response. That was the response of every student in the class who got an A. The ones that laughed, hilarious. Funnily enough, I don't know how it happened. Some weird correlation going on.
Every time.
We must be just in sync. But every time I do a Whitey's Wisecrack and the kids laugh, those kids end up getting an A. I don't know.
I feel like you've got your you've got your mark book there. You've got your Wisecrack at the ready, and it's right. Are we ready, everyone? Let's see
I know. I do.
Keep up with me.
That's one of the one that gets Animal Farm is a pretty common text. That's one that gets rolled out pretty often. To be fair, one year I was teaching it, and one of the kids yelled out, "Is it a real goose? No, it's a genuine goose." That kid got an A+.
Oh, jeez.
You preempted.
All right.
So that's a Whitey's Wisecrack. That's what you want. Some diamond of the teaching experience.
Are we
some
going with
pedagogical
diamond?
wizardry that you've got.
Oh, are we calling that diamonds? Rocks or diamonds? It's also close. Don't
It's at least topaz. Come on.
Don't feel like you to be shackled to the heights that Mr. White soars or plummets. Yes.
Yeah, look, send them in. We'll deem whether they're fit or not.
Absolutely. All right, so weekly wisecracks. So let's get into our teaching tale to kick off the year, hey?
Teaching tales. Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh, it's a bit more dramatic.
It is, isn't it? So tell us, what's a teaching tale?
A teaching tale is a wild and wacky story that can only be told if you're a teacher. They're those sort of stories that you sort of get involved with students and you sort of see them and, weird things happen in the classroom. I want to hear what you've got, Chaz. What have you got?
All right. Okay, this is good, and I would like to thank this one's coming from Queensland and in Australia, and it's a good one. It's a good one. All right, so picture this. Here we go.
Okay.
So prep or grade 1. So we've got a group of grade 4 or 5. This is your daughter. All right, so put your I don't know if we want to put your daughter in these shoes. All right, so your daughter.
That puts a spin on it. Okay.
It does, doesn't it? So she's in a class, right? So the grade preps and year 1s are all lined up, and they're heading to a specialist class. They're heading to their PE or library lesson. And one little boy, we're going to call him Bob. He was in his line, and then he ran ahead. And so these poor teachers, obviously, always wrangling these kids. I don't know how they do it. So it makes perfect sense that this exact thing happened. I don't know how this doesn't happen every day. So little Bob, he ran off ahead, and the teacher followed, but was just a little bit too far behind. And within moments of Bob being out of sight, she turned a corner and happened upon Bob, who had actually squeezed his sweet little head between some vertical steel bars and was stuck.
As you do.
Yes. So it's in Queensland, obviously. So what they did was they tried to pull him out, and that didn't work. I don't know how he'd gotten him in there, but apparently with ears, there was no backing out of that situation. So because they're primary school, I don't know, they go to their class kitchen where there just happens to be butter. So they go and they then lube up little Bobby's ears. And once again, I'm a Queenslander. I know how hot it is. It is hot here. So I'm thinking middle of the day. They've lubed him up with his butter behind his ears. I'm smelling a roast chicken basically now because it's so hot, like basting. Anyway, turns out the butter wasn't enough. They tried oil. They tried many other slippery substances, and nothing worked for little Bob except for the fire department coming, cutting off the bars to release.
Oh, the bars. Not
the bars.
Right, good.
The vertical bars. They didn't cut off Bobby's head.
Oh,
they did not cut off Bob's head. They cut off the bars and released little Bob back into the wild, and for him to be able to join
the general population
back into the G-pop, and little Bob lived to see another day of library and PE. And the lesson here is stay in line, kids. So maybe let Bonnie know that it's really important to stay in 2 lines. Never run ahead, because we don't want to be Bobby and getting caught between the 2 vertical bars.
We don't want to be Bobby.
Don't be Bobby.
Don't want to be running ahead. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a thing.
Kids do.
Community service announcement ahead of a new school year.
Don't let them run ahead. Don't run ahead.
Stick your head between bars. This is for students as well, not just teachers.
Absolutely.
Students,
absolutely.
pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah. Do your maths carefully because what goes in doesn't always come directly out.
Hey, maths. That's good. Bring some learning into it. What's the circumference of your head?
Exactly.
What's
Do
the
your
distance
measurements
between the bars?
Yes.
Work out the radius. I love it.
Yeah. So there you go. So thank you so much to our Queensland teacher for sending in your teaching tale. I can only imagine how many times that one's been wheeled out at a barbecue. All right.
Yes.
So obviously we want you to send any of your stories through to our social media accounts or that Gmail account. So teacherschangelivespodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe on any of our platforms. And so we're on pretty much all podcast platforms. Podbean has got them all listed. So if you look up Teachers Change Lives podcast on Podbean, you'll be able to find all of the different podcast providers. Most definitely.
It's the one with the crossword.
It is. It's the one with the crossword thing on it. And we're on Spotify, obviously, and Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts, obviously. And so just click on favorites there and give us a 5-star review or give us a 5-star rating or leave us a review. Do you have there's been reviews left. People are not just listening. So what, tell us what somebody said.
So many. I've sifted them out and I've found a really good one. This is from B Jennings. Thank you, B. Great first episode. These guys work so well together. Hilarious stories and well told. Can't wait for the weekly episodes.
Oh, here we are, B.
Jennings. Thank you.
Yep. We are here now. We are here on a weekly basis at the start of the school year. So
we're in.
Good to be here. So next week we have a wonderful, we will be interviewing an inspiring young leader. She is the CEO of Schools Plus, Rosemary Conn, will be joining us to tell her story of how she came to be leading the amazing organisation of Schools Plus and the impact that they are having on schools across Australia and on teachers across Australia. So it'll be very interesting to hear her story and the stories of teachers that she is being inspired by on a daily basis. Super exciting.
Yep. Wonderful organisation, Schools Plus. If you don't know them, jump on, have a look at the website before you hear the interview next week. Really looking forward to talking to Rosemary.
And that website is schoolsplus.org.au. Beautiful. So get on board there.
Well, all right. Thank you again to a Video Pro for providing our awesome recording equipment, and thank you for caring about teachers.
Beautiful. Absolutely. And in the coming weeks, we're going to have an improvement to our sound and audio, and we're super happy to have them on board. And
we are.
Yeah. So that's it for this week then, Whitey. So have a great week. Keep changing lives, hey?
Thank you very much, Ace. You too. Good luck to everyone out there. Hope the year starts really well for you. Great fun. Get into it.
Absolutely. All right. See you next week. Bye.
See ya. Bye.